Well, welcome to Quest Live, everybody. I'm Tom Tony, and so glad that you joined me here today as we're together every week talking about just the importance of coaching, mentoring, teaching young students. In fact, today that's our topic. Today we're going to talk about why I believe that one of the greatest influences in the lives of young students are teachers, coaches, and mentors. Of course, parents are as well. They are also all those things. But I want to talk today specifically about the role of the relationship of coaches in young students. What should we know about our relationship? How should we handle that relationship? What are some things that are going on in that relationship that we should be aware of to help us leverage our time with those students to help draw the best out of them? I want you to take a quick second, if you would, and just share this out. Share out this episode, this session, because today we're going to talk about coaching relationships. So get ready. Let's go. So maybe you are a teacher, maybe you are a mentor, maybe you're a coach. What we refer to those individuals in the Quest systems, we call them Quest coaches. And we specifically refer to it as Quest coaches because really coaching is the aspect that we most want to draw out of the leaders that are engaged in the Quest process. Certainly, there are teachers who teach on topics, and we all are teachers at some point in the lives of the young students that we lead. Mentorship, where we're building relationship with them and walking alongside them. And then there is coaching, where we're drawing out of them the greatness that's already inside them, helping to coach them in their processes, their skills, their thinking, their attitude, you name it. And so coaching is kind of the aspect that we lean on the most. And that's what this whole series of podcasts is all about, is about coaching the next generation. So I'm glad that you joined me here today. Today, we're going to talk about the coaching relationship, And specifically, we want to kind of draw on some aspects of the relationship that we've come to recognize are vital to the success of developing young leaders and how we coach them and bring them along. Along with each of these key areas, we have a question. I'm going to pose a question that we can ask to help us identify how are we doing in that area? How can we develop in that area? So if you have young students that you are mentoring, leading, teaching, coaching on any level, I believe that today is going to be very encouraging for you and give you good food for thought. How do we think about our relationship with these students? Now, over the years, I've watched great coaches, I've watched mediocre coaches, and I've watched coaches that weren't all that great. And the impact that these individuals have on the development of young students is not debatable. It is undeniable. It's powerful. What you can do to help propel the future of a person while they are young as a coach is absolutely potent. It's powerful in their lives. And so doing it in the right way, having a right perspective of our relationship with these students is paramount. It's really important. So I always want to share some ideas on this topic with you today. The first thing that I want you to see where it concerns the coaching relationship is that as coaches, we recognize that they are seeing greater in you. We ask that question, can they see greater in me? Your students should see greater in you. And what do I mean by that? What do I mean by greater? I don't mean greater necessarily as in just a better person or any of that. What I'm talking about is they should be able to look at your life, your processes, how you're choosing to live your own life and aspire to who you are. Maybe they're not going to follow the same career path. Maybe they don't like everything in common, but the nature of who you are, the character of who you are, how you navigate relationships, how you invest in other people, your caring personality, the list goes on. Those are things that they should aspire to in their own lives. They should be able to look at your life and say and think, someday, if I could just be like Coach so-and-so, if I could just be like this teacher. In fact, what we know is that great coaches, great teachers, and mentors have this said about them at some point in their lives by the students that they've impacted. And I'll never forget so-and-so. And I wanted to grow up to be just like them. I wanted to do life like they do. I wanted to lead like they do. And so our students should always be seeing greater in us. And this is important because this pushes us to not just act greater or try to put ourselves off as greater, but it pushes us to actually be greater, to make wiser choices, to live a life of greater character, so in ourselves, so that we can demonstrate that to our students. So here's the question that we ask in this, and that is, what are you demonstrating to which they can aspire? What are you doing as a coach? What are you demonstrating to which your students can aspire? How are you navigating life? How are you walking through integrity, character, keeping your word, demonstrating excellence? It's something we can just reflect on and ask ourselves, am I demonstrating the kind of life that I would want my students to aspire to? Now let's cut through all the cliche and let's go ahead and everybody admit it right now. Say it out loud with me. I'm not perfect. We get that. That's really not what's at question here. We get that we make mistakes. We get that we have our inadequacies, things that we're working on. But that's a part of this journey. Can we demonstrate through our own challenges how to have grit and perseverance and determination? Can we demonstrate when we face a barrier, how to overcome those barriers, how to not give up, how to find innovative solutions? So I'm talking about being a perfect role model that makes no mistakes and gives your students something to shoot for, and hopefully one day you'll be like me. No, I'm talking about, are we demonstrating that our lifestyle, the way we choose to live, the way we choose to lead, the way we choose to think, is that something to which our students can aspire? Something to think about, because they need to be able to see greater in us. The second thing is this, is that can they feel confident around you? Do they feel confident around you? You know, I know for me, there are certain people that when they walk in the room, or if I'm going to be in their presence, my confidence level just elevates. There's something about my relationship with them that causes me to feel more calm, at ease, and confident. And most typically what I find is that the element of that relationship is respect and appreciation and belief in me. In other words, here's a person who, when they walk in the room, not only do I believe they know things, that they have great skill and ability, and that we have a relationship, but at the end of the day, I know they're going to believe in me. I know if I fail miserably or I succeed greatly, they're going to love me just the same. They're going to appreciate me just the same. So when they come in the room, my confidence goes to a whole new level. So that becomes a question that we ask ourselves is, do our students feel confident around us? And here's the question that we can ask. Is there a healthy balance of reverence and respect? Now, those two things might sound the same, but here's how I want to drive them. I didn't want to use the word fear, but reverence for me has an element of fear about it. Healthy fear, not negative fear as in insecurity, but healthy fear as in reverence. And we also may call it respect. Respect has to do with, I see how you live your life, and I respect the way in which you navigate with integrity. Reverence has to do with wanting to, to a certain extent, to please that individual or to live a life that they would consider to be pleasing or well done, well managed. So there's a reverence. There's a fear for, I want to get it right in their presence. Now there's got to be health with that, because it can be overdone and we become codependent or so dependent on the input and what others say about us that we lose who we are. We're not talking about that. We're talking about a sense of reverence and respect that generates confidence. Now, when you walk in the room, they're like, man, not only does coach know what they're talking about, not only does my teacher know the topic, know who I am, but there's a certain amount of me that just wants to step up in their presence and gives me the confidence to do that. So Do your students feel confident around you? You know, the opposite of this may be that when an individual walks in the room, maybe you've experienced this as well, there's nothing but intimidation. It's like they come into the room, it's like, I'm out. I can't do this. I'm overwhelmed. I'm intimidated. I want to cower away. Certainly that's not what we want to drive in the atmosphere of leading our students. It's not what we want either. We don't want to be in the room in the presence of people who make us feel those ways. So nor do we want to create that for the students that we lead. But confidence, yes, we want to create confidence for them. Number 3 is simply this. Do your students sense compassion from you? And this is what's going to help the second one. Do they feel confident? But do they sense compassion from you? Do they know that at the end of the day, that you're for them, that you got their back, you want them to succeed, that you're aware of the challenges that they're facing, that you recognize some of the things they have to overcome in order to achieve on a greater level and to grow in their capacities? So that compassion, while it doesn't make allowance for a lack of effort, certainly understands that in some cases, it might be more difficult for some than others. And that's always going to be true. In other words, one student's going to struggle at one thing that another may not, and vice versa. Those two students may change roles in a different scenario. So compassion simply says, I get it. I know where you are. I know what you're capable of. I know you're capable of more, but I also understand that these things may be difficult, that you may be experiencing some things that are barriers in your life, coming through a difficult challenge, difficult season. And there's compassion for that. So here's the question that we ask is, do they know they can count on you to feel their pain? There's an old saying, we used to say it all the time. You might remember if you're old enough, I feel your pain. So that was, I forget it was made famous by, but anyhow, I feel your pain. And what that simply is trying to communicate is, I get it. I know where you're coming from. Now, we don't always know where a student is coming from. We may not have experienced their exact experience. We can certainly find a way to show empathy and sympathy for them, to recognize this has to be difficult. This has to be hard. And so I show compassion for you. However, at the same time, I also believe you can overcome this. I also believe you can continue to achieve and progress and grow. And that gives them confidence. So compassion, do they sense compassion from you? The next one is this, is do they push through for you? Do they push through for you? Again, one of the great qualities that I hear again and again as I talk to coaches especially is that on every level, on some level, students are saying, I want to do this for coach. I got to push through for coach. Now, as coaches, we typically say, do it for the team. It's about the team. It's not about you. It's about the team. In fact, one of our phrases in Quest is, it's not about you. It is about the team. It's about those that you're serving, those that are around you. But it's also sometimes I hear students say, man, I want to do this for coach. I don't want to disappoint coach. Coach is expecting this of me. So we're holding that high standard as coaches. We're doing it compassionately, understanding this might be a struggle for you, but we don't relent on the standard, which will push those students through that compassion to want to perform for you. Now, again, here's a key. We have to really be careful here that we don't cause this to be unhealthy. Unhealthy performance-related issues can be severely limiting in a person's life. When we want to perform for others, we lose our own identity. We lose our own sense of self-worth. And suddenly all of our significance becomes tied up in what other people think about us. We want to avoid that. That's not what we want to perpetuate as a coach. What we want to perpetuate as coaches is a healthy sense of I believe in you that pushes you to go to the next level, push through, and they'll do it for you. If they won't do it for themselves, they'll do it for you. So here's the question that we ask is this: does their relationship with you push them to greater excellence? Now, I've seen coaches and teachers and mentors whose relationship with their students did not push the students to the next level. In fact, I've witnessed scenarios in which students were pushed to not exceed, to not excel by the relationship because there was just so much allowance given to the relationship, because those coaches wanted just to be peers. They wanted to be friends. They wanted the students to like them, and so they wouldn't push them. And because of that, there was just a real sense of lackadaisical, a real sense of not just ordinary, non-progressive. So we want to create and develop an atmosphere where our students feel pushed by our expectations and by our atmosphere, healthy expectations that are provided with compassion, but expectations of next level nonetheless, that push them to go to that greater level. The next one is this, that they grow with you. They grow with you. Now, this goes back to one of the first ones that we talked about, and that is recognizing that as leaders and coaches, we're also at work. We're still in the process of growing. We're still a piece of work. That's what I want to say, that we're still working on ourselves. And so recognizing that, we demonstrate that through humility. Hey, I still have things I'm working on too, but I want to show you what it looks like to push through. Let's grow together. As you grow, I will grow. As you grow as a student, I will grow as a coach. Now, they're still seeing greater in us. They're still seeing that capacity, something that in us that they want to aspire to. But we're not afraid to say, hey, here's an area of my life in which I'm trying to improve and get better. Let's grow. Grow with me. Grow with me as a coach. You know, I think it's very powerful. I've seen this demonstrated by coaches in the past, by people who have even coached me. An ability to learn from the students, that when the students have a great idea or they point something out that's correct, that the coach may be able to stand back and go, hey, I didn't see it that way. Great call out. Way to go. Thank you for showing me that. What does that demonstrate? A capacity to grow. I don't know it all. I don't know everything. I probably know more than you, but I don't know everything. And so we literally can grow together. Come on, grow with me. And that creates depth of relationship. It creates respect and reverence, which is needed for confidence, right? So here's the question that we ask in this area. We simply say, do you demonstrate that you are learning and growing from leading them? Hey guys, I just want you to know, getting to lead you is a growing experience for me. I just want you to know that in being a coach and a mentor to you, that, man, I'm learning so much. I'm learning it from you. I'm learning it with you. I'm learning it through you. But I am growing, and you can grow with me. That builds real depth in relationship. The next one is this: achieve greater. They're achieving greater because of you. Do your students achieve greater because of you? Because of you. Now, I recognize that this isn't something in fact. All the great coaches I've ever talked to would deny this. They would, no, it's not me. And it's interesting because it's like that sense of humility is what it takes to be a great coach. It's so funny. It's because it's an interesting relationship on that. It takes humility to be a great coach. And being a great coach almost always demonstrates great humility. It's like, do they really not know it was them? Do they really not know? No. It wasn't me as the kid. It was all in the kid. All I did, I just pulled it out of them. I just drew it out of them. I believe they really believe that. But at the same time, we have to admit it was because of those coaches that we went to the next level. Those teachers, those mentors, those people that spoke into our lives, they absolutely, without a doubt, clearly are the voice that helped us to go to that next level. I just want to encourage you as a coach. It's okay to recognize that. It's not okay to gloat over it. It's not okay to think that you're all that, but it's okay to recognize, man, what I do really matters. How I do it matters. And a spirit of humility will say, because of that, I have to keep getting better. But they achieve greater because of who we are. If we weren't in their reality, if we weren't growing, if we weren't pushing ourselves, then likely those students wouldn't be having these things drawn out of them and given that opportunity. And we see that all over. We see the great need, the void that is in the lives of students today for people like you who are willing to be a great coach. So let's just pause and recognize that it's because of you. And rather than just wearing that as a badge, we see it as a challenge. Oh man, I got to keep my stuff together. I got to keep growing. I got to keep getting better at this because the kids are counting on me. Their achievement counts on me. So here's the question that we ask. Can you humbly identify your impact on their achievement? It's okay to do that, because in doing that, that gives you some hints and insights into where you can grow as a mentor and as a coach. Vitally important to this the coaching relationship. And so these are all the things that I wanted to cover today on this topic. Are we doing these things? Let's run back through them real quickly here. We get back to my first one, which is, do they see greater in you? We're simply going to ask, what are you demonstrating to which they can aspire? Are they feeling confident around you? Is there a healthy balance of reverence and respect? Do they sense compassion from you? Do they feel they can count on you to feel their pain? Are they pushing through for you? Does their relationship with you push them to greater excellence? Are they growing with you? Do you demonstrate that you are learning and growing from leading them? And are they achieving greater because of you? Can you humbly identify your impact on their achievement? These are great questions, great things to consider for us as coaches as we think through the coaching relationship that we have with our students. It's an important relationship. I'm telling you, what you do is vital to the development of the students that you lead. Keep going. Don't give up. Keep pushing. Keep thinking about these areas and evaluating, how can I grow? How can these questions help me to become a stronger coach? Because at the end of the day, coaching is the key. Coaching is the difference maker in the lives of these students. So thank you for being a coach in their lives. Thank you for pushing to that next level. I'd love to hear your feedback on this topic. Leave me a comment, reach out to us, let us know how these episodes are helping you and how today's episode specifically is helping to shape your future as a coach. And keep, as always, building strong young leaders. I'll see you next week.